Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to video 4 of GRC series. In this video, we are going to discuss about GRC operating model, what it is, what all are its benefits, and what is the structure of that. Okay, with some examples. So let's start understanding the GRC operating model. So till now, we have understand from last video what are the core components of GRC. Okay, so the next step is learning how these components are working together. And this is what known as GRC operating model, and this model is very important. Okay, an operating model, or you can say this GRC operating model, provides structure. It ensures that governance, risk management, and compliance are not functioning independently, but they are connected in a coordinated system. Okay, so when this structure is available, when this structure is present, organizations gain stronger oversight and improved decision making capabilities. So that's why it is important. Okay, if I ask you what happened without operating model, so without an operating model, activities often become inconsistent. We have a number of teams, and these different teams may interpret the responsibility differently. Okay, now because of that, the oversights can weaken, or the critical task or risk may go unnoticed. Okay, so these are the few drawbacks of a non-operating model. Moreover, we can say when the structure is missing, organizations are tend to react after the problem emerge rather than preventing them. So there is no reactive or proactive approach available here. Okay, so a clear operating model introduces consistency, and it enables leadership to operate with greater confidence. Okay, so we can say that structure in many ways is what makes the control possible. You see, structure enables the control. Okay, so now let us discuss the flow of this particular GRC operating model. What is the flow here? So you see this. So it starts with direction, then risk, then assurance. This is the complete flow. The GRC operating model follows a logical progression. Okay, in this, governance set the direction by defining expectations, whereas risk management evaluate the uncertainty by identifying what could affect the business objective. Okay, finally the compliance is there, and compliance then provide assurance by verifying that operations align with the established requirement. So together, these steps create a cycle that support stable and informed operations. So this is the complete flow. Now let us discuss each and every element of this flow one by one. Okay. So step one is governance. So what governance is doing? Governance set expectations. What is this? So each organization require a clarity around how work should be performed. Okay. And governance fulfill this role. So this is the duty of governance by establishing policies, defining certain standards, assigning various responsibilities, and finally outlining that decision authority. Okay. So without this guidance, team may adopt inconsistent practices, obviously, right? And it increases the operational exposure. Finally, we can say that governance ensures that everyone understands what is expected and how the organization is intended to operate. It means your roles and responsibilities are clearly defined via policies and standard in the form of governance. Okay, so this is the role of governance. I hope it is clear to you now. Now let's move to risk management. So what is the role of risk management here? So the risk management evaluate the exposure. So in governance, the expectations are defined. Okay, so once the expectations are defined, the next step is to understand what could interrupt them or disrupt them. Okay, it means we are talking about risk. So we can say that risk management focuses on identifying potential threat and evaluating their impact. For example, Introducing a new system may improve the efficiency. Yes, that is okay, that is fine, but it also introduces operational and security risk. That is the challenge here. So that's why we have the risk management, which is evaluating all such type of risks. Okay. So we can say that by assessing these possibilities early, organizations can prioritize the attention and plan the appropriate response to these risks. Okay. Proactive measures will be taken and then finally applied there. Okay. So we can say that awareness significantly reduces the likelihood of unexpected disruptions here. That's what we say. Awareness reduces the surprises. So after 1 and 2, we have the step 3 of this operating model. This is compliance. So what compliance is doing? Compliance is validating a alignment. So, compliance act as a verification mechanism. It confirms that the organizational activities are aligned with the regulatory obligations, are aligned with the internal policies of the company or organization, and finally, it aligned with the recognized standards. Okay. So this validation is very important. It is critical because, defining policies alone is not enough. Organizations must also demonstrate that these policies are being followed or not. Once they see everything is followed properly, then only we have the complete GRC available. Complete GRC objectives are fulfilled only then. Okay. So stronger compliance practices reinforce the accountability and support the organizational credibility as well. Okay. So these are the 3 steps of this operating model. Now let's move forward and see how these operating models are working together. Okay, till now we have understood what is the meaning and what is the flow, each and every component of the flow. Now how it is working together. Okay, so the real strength of GRC emerges when these functions operate in alignment. We know that, right? Governance provide clarity about expectations, right? Secondly, risk management deliver insight into potential challenges, right? And finally, compliance confirm that the operations are remain on track. Okay, so all these things we know. So when connected, I mean when these 3 are connected, they create a control environment that is both structural as well as resilient. If one element weaken, you know, all 3 are connected. So if there is an issue with one, it has the impact of another. Okay, so we can say that if one element weaken, the effectiveness the organizational control of the entire. Okay, so now you have good clarity on this. Finally, we have this change implementation example, which is enterprise example. So let us consider an organization that is preparing for a major technology change. Okay. So in this, what GRC will do? So in this, again, the governance establish approval requirements, okay, to ensure that the change is properly authorized. Obviously, approvals and authorizations are very much important to migrate or to do any kind of change. Then the risk management comes into picture and it evaluates the possibilities of service disruption or security exposure. And they will, once evaluated, they will prepare their plan. Finally, we have the compliance that verify that regulatory obligations continue to meet throughout the transition. Okay, all the regulations, all the internal policies, all the external policies are now met through this complete transition. Okay, so we can say that by working together, these functions reduce uncertainty and support safer execution. Okay, and finally, this illustrates how the operating model guide organization through complex initiative. So this operating model is very, very important. You must have complete idea of this one. Okay. So finally, we have this key insight. Again, the insight is same. Together, they are wonderful, but independently working, they are not that much wonderful or powerful. So these are not separate functions. These are meant to be working together. This coordination improve visibility and support better decision. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you now. This is video number 4. I will come up with video number 5. Thank you so much.